All right, a lot we need to talk about regarding the federal THC ban, so this may give you a little bit of hope. The hemp industry is not going to be taking this lying down. We're going to cover an article here in a moment, and we're also going to watch a couple minutes of a news segment where Texas veterans are mobilizing to like try to lobby the shit out of getting something passed so this isn't outright banned like it's essentially about to be in 364 365 days at this point, whatever. So before we get into that, man, the last few videos I've been doing on this stuff have been blowing up by my standards, like a couple hundred to a couple thousand. That is exploding for me. And we've gotten over 100 new subs in the past 2 days. So to everyone here, welcome. Thank you for being here. I almost have like my own little progressive pothead community now. So and if you're not progressive, boy, I'm gonna make you one. All right, so stick around and let's get into this. So starting with this article from The Hill, the hemp industry plans next move after Trump signs THC ban. The hemp industry is regrouping and gearing up for a significant lobbying blitz following passage of the government funding package that contained a provision they say would outlaw nearly all hemp products. The legalization clarifies the definition of hemp to ban all hemp-derived products containing THC, which were legalized by the 2018 Farm Bill. And here's just a little refresher. Legal hemp products are limited to a total of 0.4 milligrams per container of total THC, or any other cannabinoids with similar effects. Cannabinoids that are synthesized or manufactured outside the plant, like Delta 8 THC, are banned. Man, that's so sad. I love Delta 8. It's like a good daily, you know what I mean, to have like a Delta 8 pen, because like I said this before, like if I hit my Delta, like my normal weed, my Delta 9 THC pen, like I'm not making it throughout the day. But Delta 8, man, it's just like, I don't know, it's so smooth. It's like a functional kind of high. Jesus Christ, I'm a I'm a pothead. I'm sorry. Okay. Anyways, the Food and Drug Administration now has 90 days to publish a list of natural and synthetic, Jesus, words are hard, cannabinoids, and provide a definition for container. According to the U.S. Hemp Roundtable, the vast majority of hemp products of the marketplace surpass the 0.4 milligram threshold, even the non-intoxicating ones. Yeah, because like THC is a naturally occurring item, or what the hell am I trying to think of? Element of a hemp plant. Like, even if you're like growing like exclusively like a CBD strain or whatever, you're going to have like a little bit of THC, like not enough to get you intoxicated, but it's going to be there. And 0.4 milligrams is a super, super low threshold, which it just, as a lot of this, the point of all of this is to effectively ban these products. And what used to be in the like the flower department, you used to be able to have, like, as long as there was less than 0.3% THC in it, you were fine, which practically all weed has less than 0.3% THC in it. I mean, of course, it can go either way, but that's because the loophole was it's THCA that is actually in the flower as it grows before it's heated up to a certain temperature, and that's what turns it into actual THC. So THCA itself is legal, was legal under the bill. Now, since they specified THC of all THC of any kind, that's where we're at. Okay, so in a memo released Thursday, the trade group said the hemp industry took a serious blow, but they're confident in finding a path forward because the language in the funding bill gives a 1-year period before the ban takes effect. We're disappointed but not defeated, the group said. Our new mission, friends, 365 days to regulate, not ban. The group pointed to a draft bill circulated over the summer from Representative Morgan Griffith, Republican from Virginia, that would establish a detailed regulatory scheme for hemp-derived products, including milligram thresholds, labeling requirements, and a new chapter in the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, explicitly giving FDA authority over cannabinoid hemp products. I mean, yeah, that's definitely a step in the right direction, but like, when I think of regulation for this kind of stuff, like a weed product and in all the synthetics, it should come down to just like requiring third party testing, requiring that that's public and stuff in that. Like regulating the actual THC content in these products is just it's so baffling to me because we have certain restrictions on alcohol content, um which that makes sense because as we've talked about before, alcohol is literally poison. It's poison, dude. Like THC, I forget what the numbers are, but like you practically can't consume enough THC to like overdose or do like irreparable harm to your body. Alcohol, it's very easy. But so it's just but you have to you have to take what you can get. The 2018 Farm Bill removed hemp from the controlled substances list in a bid to boost farmers' income and expand production of the plant, which can also be used in textiles and cosmetics, but stakeholders said lawmakers didn't anticipate the industry's rapid growth. Okay, is that a bad thing? You threw a loophole, you created a $30 billion industry that has had no like widespread negative effects. If anything, widespread, very positive effects. Like I said, show me the evidence of repeated cases of people dying from like a synthetic type of THC or something with these plants or whatever. Under this loophole, please, because unless it even hits like a fraction, a quarter of just alcohol related deaths, then I don't want to hear it. Like people die of alcohol poisoning like every fucking day. So like if 2 people out of dozens of millions of people have died in the past 7 years from some fucking fucked up synthetic thing, I'm sorry, but that is not case to do this kind of crackdown. Those products, including gummies and drinks, have exploded in popularity and are now sold outside of dispensaries and gas stations, convenience stores, and even major retailers such as Target. Michelle Bodian, general counsel and head of regulatory affairs for the THC beverage brand nowadays, and there are more than 40 states that regulate hemp-derived THC in a way that can be scaled to the federal level. Our goal is to help federal policymakers create a clear, enforceable framework that brings this fast-growing category into the mainstream while eliminating room for bad actors. The Farm Bill required the FDA to establish a regulatory framework for hemp products, but it never did, allowing intoxicating hemp products to be introduced in the marketplace without oversight or standardization. Griffith, the chair of the Energy and Commerce Health Subcommittee, has not yet formally introduced a bill, though he's authored other hemp and CBD legislation in the past. This is not 1 year to a ban, this is 1 year to regulate, and the industry will do exactly that. United, determined, and unwilling to let Washington destroy what farmers built and consumers want, said Thomas Winstonley, Executive Vice President and General Manager of Edibles.com, a new online hemp marketplace from the parent company of Edible Arrangements. A varied array of groups rallied in support of the legislation, including alcohol groups, cannabis, and cannabis-adjacent companies, as well as major marijuana prohibition group. Is that like supposed to be A or groups? They lobbied hard for limits or bans on hemp-based THC and aren't eager for Congress to change it. The American Trade Association for Cannabis and Hemp, in a statement, said the funding bill provision made an important distinction between intoxicating and non-intoxicating products and synthetic and natural products. The intoxicating hemp marketplace is rife with bad actors peddling synthetic drugs and cannabis under the guise of hemp, often without sufficient age gating. Chris Lindsay, vice president of the policy and state advocacy at ATACH, said in a statement. Now, okay, like this seems a bit over dramatic, okay? That's I feel like that's just like a very negative description of it. Now, this is something that I think does need addressed because that is something that's not necessarily that is like a bad part of the loophole. Like unless there's a specific state or local laws, like federally, like technically someone underage can buy this hemp, which is very high in THCA, which in turn turns into THC, just like normal cannabis flower. Because they are the same thing. I can't stress that enough. This is a loophole. This isn't like some scientific synthetic bullshit. So yeah, I do agree with age gating, but like everything else, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Contrary to the rhetoric in some corners, intoxicating hemp products would continue to be available for sale through state cannabis and hemp programs. Yeah, they're expensive as fucking hell. Like, Jesus Christ. Anthony Coniglio, CEO of New Lake Capital Partners, a cannabis real estate company, said closing the hemp loophole is progress, but Congress needs to take the step and turn to comprehensive federal cannabis reform for legalization and regulation. All right, and regarding Texas, Texas is a big part of this. Believe it or not, Texas has a very, I guess, a very large hemp industry. So Texas veterans they're getting in. Let's watch this.
Well, Stephen, Heather, the VFW says many of its veterans need THC hemp. So the ban does not take place until 1 year from now, and the VFW says that's plenty of time to push back in hopes of stopping it.
And they have certain strains that you can use for sleep, you can use them for energy.
THC, derived from hemp, is easy to find at smoke shops throughout North Texas. Millions of Americans use these products.
They're everyday people like me and you.
Adam Miller manages 20 After 4 in Arlington.
By the way, I have this
of businesses across the country expected to be affected by an unexpected action of Congress.
I think it's kind of sneaky. I think it's pretty sneaky.
Language added at the last minute to the federal spending bill, which will reopen the government after the shutdown, will effectively ban all THC hemp products in 1 year.
What in the world just happened last night?
Mitch Fuller, national and state legislative chairman for Texas's Veterans of Foreign Wars, spent this past summer speaking against a potential statewide ban in Texas before Governor Greg Abbott vetoed the ban, choosing instead to highly regulate.
By the way, that was an insane veto, and that's one of the very few times I will give Governor Greg Abbott credit.
THC hemp. Fuller says many veterans need these products.
You know, of course safety is important. Of course not having children having access to this is important. But let's don't use a chainsaw approach to this. Let's use a scalpel approach to it and regulate it.
Fuller says the VFW will be on the front lines in Washington, D.C., fighting to squash this ban.
Because the majority of Americans don't want this.
Opponents of THC hemp believe businesses have been exploiting a loophole from the 2018 Farm Bill, which allowed the hemp industry to take off. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick prioritized the failed statewide ban earlier this year. On Wednesday night, he posted a celebratory message to X, reading, "Consumable, highly intoxicating, hemp-derived THC is essentially banned in America."
I would say just do your research. You know what I mean? Before you form a full opinion and stand.
Dude, that dude definitely like smoked weed once or took a really gnarly edible and just had a bad time. And ever since that, he just can't let it go. He's like I understand. My first time wasn't great either. Like, I understand. He just went through that. He didn't try it again. And he's just like, we need to get rid of this, dude.
Against one thing or the other, definitely do your research.
Miller believes THC hemp safer than alcohol, many pharmaceutical options, and tobacco. He believes THC hemp users will find a way to get products, but believes doing so through a regulated store is the best way.
We have manufacturing labels, we have test sheets, we have all this stuff that we're required to have that proves that it's a safe product.
I have heard from a handful of organizations today saying they plan to lobby against this decision. Again, still a whole year until that ban would take place. Steve?
Yeah, so fear not, there is hope. I expect something has to come out of this, right? There's no way. Like, there's just no way. Like, didn't Kratom go through like a similar thing a little bit ago or a while ago? I don't really follow Kratom, but like, I feel like if Kratom is still around, which has like, it has its own problems. I would say it's infinitely more risky than weed. It still has more medicinal benefits than alcohol, but like, if Kratom can make it, I feel like hemp in this case, should be able to make it. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. Yeah, so there's hope, and all we can do now is just follow along, make our voices heard, call your senators, call your fucking congressmen, make it be known. It's like, I want my hemp, bitch. Like, if you're doing this, you better be prepared to do like broad legalization in all 50 states, like federally. Otherwise, like, this is going to be devastating. But I'll continue to follow this and provide as much coverage as I can. But until then, let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below. And if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.